Hello, good morning, traders. I want to welcome you to another morning analysis session. I want to welcome you to another morning analysis session. Today is Monday, the 23rd of March 2026. This is Avila FX Academy, and in this session, I'm going to be bringing you the market analysis for the week. This is the weekly outlook of the market, and we're looking at different instruments: the dollar index, the CHF, and a host of others. So let's dive into today's morning analysis. Now, I'm looking at the dollar index on the daily time frame, and looking at the dollar index on the daily time frame, price, sometime last week, price hit a resistance zone on the daily time frame, and let's go to the weekly time frame too. We're not getting much information on the weekly, but if you flip down to the 4 hour, based on the resistance that we have up there, I can draw my trend line right here, and a second one at the back to form a rising wedge pattern. And when you have a rising wedge is a bearish reversal pattern. It signifies potential movement from uptrend to downtrend. And also looking at the current pattern, I'm seeing something that may look like the formation of a triple top pattern or a head and shoulder pattern. It all depends on how the market eventually decides to interpret this. If it's a triple top, we have up there a eye, a second eye, and possibly price may go up a third time before we have the main bearish reversal. Or it's possible price may not touch the trend line before it reverses, but ultimately what I'm looking out for is a bearish reversal on the dollar index. So with that being said, I'll be looking at the USDCHF. So this is the USDCHF. It's one of the instruments I analyzed last week, and as such also I was bearish on it last week. So let's look at what this week as in stock. Is still the bearish outlook though, so let's check it out. Also, let's start from the daily time frame for the USDCHF. All right, so this is the USDCHF. From the daily time frame, I can clearly draw my trend line to make a series of lower highs, a lower high, a lower high, and a lower high. So technically, I'm looking for a bearish movement on this instrument this week, and that aligns with the direction we saw on the dollar index, the USDX. So if you flip this down to the 4 hour time frame, don't forget the overall direction is bearish. On the 4 hour time frame, I can draw my trend line this way and a second one this way, giving me a clear-cut rising wedge pattern. And just like the dollar index, I'm equally seeing something that looks a lot like a shoulder, a head, possibly a second shoulder from where I'm expecting a bearish breakout. So I'm bearish on the USDCHF on the 4 hour. That's a swing, and I'm expecting the breakout to happen in the course of this week. So we're very, very bearish on the USDCHF. Now I can see that there's general strength on the CHF. So that's why you need to pay a lot of attention to the CHF pairs this week. The CHF are going to be moving the market massively this week. Now this is the GBPCHF also. The GBPCHF on the daily time frame, I can draw my trend line on the daily, and all right. So we can see that the overall trend is bearish. The overall trend on the GBPCHF is bearish, just like we found on the USDCHF. You can see we have our lower high, another lower high, a third one. So technically, we're looking for a bearish movement also on the GBPCHF this week. So if we flip down to the 4-hour time frame, we can draw our trend line this way and the second one here to give a rising wedge pattern. Again, we have what is looking a lot like a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and possibly a breakout. So I'm also very bearish on the GBP CHF this week. So watch out. Watch out for breakout on the CHF pairs. There's a lot of strength on the CHF. So these other pairs are really looking very bearish. Likewise, CAD CHF is another pair you need to look at this week. CAD CHF is also bearish. Now, I've been bearish on this last week. You can see that's my analysis from last week. So this analysis still holds. It still holds. I'm still very bearish on the CAD CHF. All right, we'll look at a couple of other instruments. I'll look at the Euro USD. Don't forget, we are bearish on the dollar index, and as such, we'll be looking at the Euro USD and the GBP USD for those who trade the major pairs. So let's look at the Euro USD. Now, if you're watching this analysis, you can as well go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Drop a comment in the comment section. You want me to analyze a specific instrument, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. And also, you can reach me through the Telegram channel and the WhatsApp for mentorship. Registration is ongoing for our April mentorship. You don't want to miss it. You need to learn how to trade the Forex market professionally and, most importantly, profitably. All right, so for the USDC, Euro USD price closed around the support zone last week, and that's on the daily. On the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing a falling wedge. All right, so that's a falling wedge. Again, we have a pattern still in formation, possibly a triple bottom or an outright inverse head and shoulder, which is expected to trigger into the bullish direction. But then there's equally a resistance zone around this area that price needs to break out above before we can trigger a buy. So I'm bullish on the Euro USD, and I'm likewise very bullish on the GBP USD. You can see I had the previous analysis from last week on the GBP USD price in an uptrend on the daily time frame, and on the 4-hour we have, now it's clearer, we have a falling wedge pattern. We have a falling wedge pattern. Okay, and again we see the formation of a triple bottom or an inverse head and shoulder, whichever one is applicable at the end of the day. But then ultimately we're expecting a move to the upside. But then there's equally a resistance price needs to break out above before we can trigger a buy, and that's that resistance zone. So we're very bullish on the GBP USD. Entry can be made, anywhere price breaks out above this particular region here. If price breaks out above this area, that can be our point where we can trigger a buy. All right, and finally, I'll look at the BTCUSD. So BTCUSD is in an overall uptrend, and price currently is trading around a resistance turn support zone. So technically, this is the 4 hour, we're still looking for that movement to the uptrend. So we can flip down to 1 hour time frame and draw a trend line and a second one as we wait for a breakout to the upside. So we're very bullish on the BTC USD. All right, that will be all for this analysis for this morning. I want you to just go ahead and click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Click the like button, share this video, drop a comment in the comment section, but most importantly, go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified when I start the analysis again some other time. And again, like I said, you can join us on Telegram for more signals, for more tips, and most importantly, also for mentorship. Click on the link to my Telegram channel, and also you have my WhatsApp details there if you want to be mentored. The registration is ongoing for our April mentorship session. You don't want to miss it. All right, so I'll see you next time on this same channel for analysis. Take care and have a great day and a great week ahead. Bye.